Hey everyone, this is Matt, and in today's video we're going to talk about changes to the Dark Magician deck profile for November 2021, specifically with the new changes coming up in Burst of Destiny. So November 5th is which is tomorrow, is the official release date of Burst of Destiny. So we're going to start seeing a lot of changes in the format, and my prediction is similar to in the OCG. The new Swordsoul archetype is probably going to shoot up to be the best deck in the format. There's also the Floowandereeze deck archetype, which is also coming out in Burst of Destiny, and of course the everyone's uh, most anticipated Destroyer Phoenix Enforcer. All right, so what should we change about our profile? Because yeah, I definitely want to play Dark Magician deck at my locals this Saturday, and I do expect to see all of those new Burst of Destiny cards. So first things first, I have been playtesting around with Skill Drain, and I do think that this after talking to Loza, and I do think that Skill Drain is worth main decking. It's a good card going first or second, and it's a great floodgate that is relatively simple, like for Dark Magician to play around. So I'm gonna put in a Skill Drain here. Um, okay, that's the main change. I'll talk about what to take out later. Another change I want to mention is Rivalry of Warlords. So see in the side deck here we have Rivalry of Warlords. The reason being is that this card is just amazing in the current format where the top decks are Tri-Brigade, Drytron, um, Prank Kid, Sky Striker, etc. Because all of their decks use different types. However, with the new Burst of Destiny release, uh, this card is not going to be good against the new archetypes. And why is that? The reason being is that if you search um, like the Swordsoul monsters, they're pretty much all worms, right? With the exception of Ecclesia, who's a spellcaster, but Ecclesia is most is a starter card for this deck, but it's not part of the main archetype. Most of the other cards that are in the archetype are worms. So the cards you'll most likely see as the Swordsoul openers is Moye here, which is a worm. Longren is a worm. Tai is a worm, and yeah, all their synchros are also worms. So running Rivalry of Warlords here just doesn't make sense at all. And if we go over to the other archetype, Floowandereeze, oh look, all their monsters are winged beasts. So Rivalry of Warlords will do nothing against this deck. So yeah, it definitely loses a lot of power. And then if we go over to with Destiny Hero Destroyer Phoenix Enforcer, there is a possibility that we'll start seeing a lot more hero decks, or at least like rogue like hero decks pop up. And as you may know, uh, you know, almost all the heroes are warriors, right? With some exception, yeah. So Rivalry of Warlords is going to be no bueno, but there is a floodgate that we can replace Rivalry with that not only will be good against the new Swordsoul like Burst of Destiny cards, but will still be pretty decent against the other archetypes that you might still see from the pre Burst of Destiny format, and that floodgate is Gozen Match. So let's take out these three sorts rivalries here, and let's put in three Gozen Match. All right. So why is Gozen Match gonna be good? Well, first of all, as you may have noticed or not, most of although the Sword Souls are all worms, they're all different attributes, right? So Chunjun is a earth, Longren is a fire, Tai is a wind, Moye is a water, right? And each of the Sword Souls also have like an on-summon ability, or I guess not on-summon, like an effect that special summons a Sword Soul token, which is a tuner, worm, water, to the field, right? And then they use those tokens to go into synchro summons. But yeah, if you have Gozen Match on the field, that means that the only Sword Soul monster that can even activate their effect, like to bring out the token is Moye, because Moye is a water and the token is also a water. Taya will not be able to use its effect. Neither will Longren. Like they won't, because they're different attributes from their tokens, right? But even if Moye here does bring out a token, what are they going to synchro into, right? Let's look at their synchro monsters. They have a Cheng Ying, they have Qi Xing Longren, and they have a Qi Xiao, right? Water, fire, and light. So Moye will only be able to synchro into this water. But if you look at its level, this is a level 10 synchro, whereas Moye is a level 4 and the token is level 4, which means they're still missing 2 levels to even get to this water monster. So most of the time, like the synchro that Swordsoul wants to go into is Qi Xiao, this one here, because it's a level 8 synchro, right? And additionally, another synchro that Swordsoul wants to go into is Baron de Fleur, who is a wind, right? A level 10 wind. So yeah, it's basically going to be really, like, not impossible, but I can't really foresee how Swordsoul can play through a Gozen Match. If you go first and you set and activate Gozen Match, like, I don't see what their play is going to be. The only monster I can possibly see is like, oh, Moye is a water, brings out the water tuner, and then makes Adamantipator Dragite, right? So, like, I mean, some Swordsoul decks might want to run Dragite because it's a level 8 tuner, right? And because it requires water traps in the graveyard, and Moye is a water. You might see an Adamantipator Dragite. So yeah, I would say that. And if that, like, but if this is the only thing you'll have to deal with, like, I think you'll be in a pretty good spot. One other thing about Swordsoul, which another reason why Gozen Match is amazing, is because Ecclesia, another starter monster, which does bring out their Swordsoul monsters, is a light. So if they normal summon Ecclesia or special summon and attempt to use her effect, you can flip Gozen Match and their turn is over, essentially. Like they don't really have a light starter monster. Maybe I don't know, this Iris Swordsoul from was it is this King's Court? I don't know. Like, I don't know. I just don't see how they can play through Gozen Match. All right, let's look at Floowandereeze. So I don't know if you haven't played against Floowandereeze decks. They're a deck that repeats normal and tribute summon. They do not special summon. But even though most of their monsters are winged beasts, they actually are about roughly evenly split between water and wind, right? So the most common like play that Floowandereeze wants to make is they want to bring out Robina first, because Robina says when this is normal summon, you can add a level 4 lower wing beast from deck to hand, and then normal summon again, right? So typically the way it works is Floowandereeze normal summons Robina. Robina searches Eaglin. Eaglin says, if there's normal summon, add a level 7 higher wing beast monster to your deck and hand, and then they add Floowandereeze M-Pen, and then M-Pen tribute summons Eaglin and Robina to come out, and then maybe they want to make additional plays from there. But the point is, Robina is definitely the preferred start. And if you'll notice here, Robina is a water, whereas Eaglin is a wind, right? And like, yeah, they also have Stritch, which is a water, but Stritch's on summon effect is not that good because it doesn't search, right? So they kind of have to have the card they already need to begin with. Yeah, so like if let's say they normal summon Stritch allows them to normal summon again. They normal summon Robina, so they have 2 waters. Like they can play through Gozen Match there. But then how do they get their M-Pen, right? Like if they have it in their hand, they can't summon it. So the only other option they have is to tribute summon this Snarl. But then again, because this cannot be searched through Robina and Stritch, like they have to have it in their hand, right? So basically, like, for them to play through Gozen Match, they have to open Stritch, Robina, and Snarl, and then they can get through Snarl, I suppose. But it's just really hard for them to play through Gozen Match, right? And you know, some Floowandereeze decks also like to play like Ecclesia, you know, like the Dogmatica stuff. Ecclesia is a light spellcaster, so you know if they do have that, they can't play through Gozen Match either. And then of course, if you look at the elemental heroes, let's say you're playing against a rogue hero deck. Heroes are all warriors, but a lot of them are different attributes. So for example, Stratos is a wind, right? What is it? Solid Soldier is an earth, right? Um, Liquid Soldier is a water, right? Um, although I will say that you know, heroes have more flexibility because they do have a lot of darks, and you know, maybe they can get away with only playing their dark monsters. Like Ferris is a dark, Vion is a dark, Increase is a dark. Uh, where is it? Hero Increase, yep, is a dark. Malicious is a dark. Malicious Bane is dark. So it is possible that like if they have a heavy Destiny hero deck, then like they can play around Gozen Match. But if they don't expect Gozen Match, like you can catch them off guard if they normal summon Stratos and then you flip Gozen Match, or they normal summon Solid Soldier and they flip Gozen Match. Another thing is like most of their fusions that they like to bring out are also not darks. Like Elemental Hero Sunrise is a light, right? Absolute Zero is a water, right? So like these are some of the cards that they like to end boards on or like go into. So yeah, you can absolutely play around that. Extra Hero Wonder Driver is a light, right? I think Cross Crusader. Uh, yeah, that's a dark. So yeah, so they can still, you know, they can stick to darks and like bring out Destroyer, Phoenix Enforcer. Um, but you know, it's like it's not gonna, you know, it definitely like hinders their deck. And you know, worst case, like instead of Gozen Match, you could if you could also have Summon Limit in your toolbox, right? So it's not the end of the world. But yeah, Gozen Match should be good. And then let's think about like the other decks that we still see, like for example, Tri-Brigade. Tri-Brigade loses to Rivalry, but it also kind of loses to Gozen Match, right? Fractal is a fire, Karis is an earth, Kid is a fire, Nerval is a wind, right? And then if you look at their links, like Baron Blossom is an earth, Bear Bloom is a fire, Rugal is an earth, and Ominous Omen is a dark. So if you have Gozen Match on the field, it's literally impossible for them to go in the Ominous Omen because it's a dark, and none of their like monsters here, like Tri-Brigade monsters, are darks, right? Like yeah, they can still go into Farragut to get their draw, but then they can't go into Bear Bloom, right? Or like if they use their Karis to try to bring Link Summon, or like they cannot go into Bear Bloom at all, right? So yeah, Gozen Match definitely very good against Tri-Brigade. So Tri-Brigade will still be a strong deck, at least until I guess we'll see how they how much Swordsoul takes over. But yeah, Gozen Match still works against them. And then the other decks, Sky Strikers. Needless to say, Ray is a dark, Rose is a light, and then their links are all different elements. Hayate wind, Kaina earth, Kagari fire, Shizuku water. Right. So before like Rivalry of Warlords completely prevented Sky Striker from summoning. Well, so does Gozen Match. Right. So yeah, it's still Gozen Match. Although in my opinion not as good as Rivalry against these decks, like it is, it's like completely useless against the new decks. So at this point, Gozen Match is the way to go. Yeah, let's see. And then I guess the only other thing is Drytron. So Drytron was also a deck that lost hard to Rivalry, and Gozen is a lot less effective against them because most of their monsters are lights. The only thing I would say Gozen is good is like some of their monsters are dark. So obviously Anaconda is a dark, Dragoon is a dark. Um, and so is other cards they like to go to, like IP Masquerena is a dark, and Link Karibo is also a dark, right? So if you see them like do, Drytron Nova, bring out Alpha, link away to Link Karibo, immediately flip Gozen Match, and their turn is over, right? Because they have no other cards in their hands that they can summon that will be dark, and yeah, they're stuck on a dark, and their turn is over. Like Link Karibo can screw them in that regard. Also, if you see them do Medium versus Drytron, like their ritual spell to bring out their Herald, chain Gozen Match, because yeah, it won't stop them from ritual summoning, but it'll at least mean they cannot go into Dragoon. So you at least stop half their combo, right? Like most Drytron players like to end on Herald and Dragoon. Gozen Match says, sorry, you can only get one of those, right? And obviously, if you stop uh, use Gozen Match on chain of their ritual and they bring out Herald, Gozen Match will also stop IP Masquerena, so they won't get that. That's another like one fewer interruption on your turn. So yeah, Gozen Match is solid. The only complaint I have about Gozen Match, which is not as good as Rivalry, is you're not completely safe from Kaijus. There is a dark Kaiju, but luckily most decks do not run Radiant. So most prefer to run Godarla or Gameciel, maybe Jizukuru, but maybe Dolgaron, but you're very, very unlikely to see the dark Kaiju. So yeah, Gozen will not protect you from that. Also, Gozen will not be as effective against super polymerization because it will not let you send Anaconda to the graveyard. If you have end on Anaconda Dragoon, Gozen stops that. One other minor complaint about Gozen is that, unlike Rivalry, you cannot go into Artemis and you cannot go into a Selene. So under Rivalry you can still go into Selene, Revive Dragoon. You can still go into Artemis, but under Rivalry, you cannot go into access code, right? So I would say but Gozen Match does allow you to go into access code. You just can't use Selene like as an intermediary. Anyway, yeah, so definitely gonna play Gozen over Rivalry for this format. All right, and then by the way, you'll notice I have access code here in my extra deck. Yeah, I told you. What did I say? I told you that access code will become in Premium Gold, but that's later in the month. So right now we're actually running Blackluster Soldier, Soldier of Chaos. Yeah, this is what I'm running in my IRL deck. So let's just put that in for now. Yeah, feel free to replace with Topological Dragon, or if you have access code, like put that in. Okay, so now let's deal with this deck here because we want to get to 40 cards. So I was thinking that. So I'm just gonna make just an idea here. I'm gonna put in Gozen Match, like 2 of them, and I'm gonna take out 3 summon limits and put in the side deck. And I'm actually gonna run 2 Gozen Matches. So this is what I was thinking of taking the locals, or like the back row for locals. Some people complain about my deck profile. Oh, summon limit is bad going second. Gozen Match is okay going second, right? Because if they establish a board, Gozen Match set, and then on the following turn can force them to clear their board, right? So let's try main decking 2 Gozen Match in the skill drain. So these are much better going second than a lot of people argue 3 summon limit, right? And then summon limit in the side deck. So for those games when you do know you're going first, you can put these in and have even more floodgates. Because really, like, summon limit like stops all decks, even the new ones, right? It's just a good card. Yeah, so this is like the back row lineup that I'm going to try running. One other thing I want to mention is that at my locals, a deck that is really, really popular is Dragon Link, right? I see Dragon Link a lot at my locals, like more than I see Drytron, more than I see like Virtual World. Oh, speaking of Virtual World, Gozen Match is also good against Virtual World because although they can still go into Shen, they cannot go into Ultimaya, which is the way they bring out Crystal Wing. They cannot go into Dragoon, and they cannot go into Kaliga. So yeah, Virtual World, you prefer to have Rivalry, but Gozen Match is an acceptable alternative. It basically like forces them to only stick to the wind monsters pretty much, which is just Shen, and Shen by itself is not that scary, honestly. Okay. Oh yeah, but as the point I was making earlier about Dragon Link is so Dragon Link, although they're all dragons, they do have a lot of off attributes. So most of their dragons are dark, but Seyfried is a light, right? So if they normal summon Seyfried, immediately goes in match, and their turn is over. yeah, let's see what else. Hieratic Seal of Heavenly Spheres is a light, right? Whereas most of their, whereas if you see like Boral Load Savage Dragon is a dark. Hot Red Archfiend, Hot Red Dragon Archfiend Abyss is dark, right? Most of their main monsters are darks. So yeah, Gozen Match, if you use it at the right time, will end their turn. Romulus being the biggest one, it's a wind. As soon as they bring out Romulus, if you Gozen Match, their turn is over, right? Because Romulus, like no other monsters in their deck except maybe like the Dragon Ruler, Tempest. Yeah, Tempest is a wind, but like other than that, like Romulus being a wind means that if you flip Gozen Match on Romulus summon, their turn is over, like just immediately, right? So yeah, I feel pretty good about Gozen Match. Yeah, definitely think 2 of for now. If I don't see it enough, maybe I'll bump it up to a 3 of. But yeah, I'm feeling pretty good. I'm curious to see how people in my locals are gonna adapt to the new cards. But yeah, anyway, for those of you following, thanks for watching. Yeah, this is the update deck profile. And even if you don't like the rest of my profile, like but you still like my back row choices, yeah, definitely consider if you have a floodgate in your deck profile, swapping out Rivalry of Warlords for Gozen Match. I think Gozen Match is going to be the go-to floodgate for the new format. Um, so yeah, I am also experimenting with like other variations of Dark Magician deck. Like Loza convinced me to try out the Dogmatica Dark Magician, uh, Dogmatic package of Dark Magician. We'll see. Like regardless of if you like Dogmatica, if you like the Shadal Schism, all that other like stuff that you see in other Dark Magician deck profiles, still run Gozen Match. Like I think this will single-handedly win you games. Um, so yeah, hopefully I don't regret putting Summon Limit in the side deck because, like I said, my locals has a lot of rogue decks like um, Salamangreats and Machina, like Infinitrack, which Gozen Match will do nothing against. But Gozen Match can prevent a lot of decks from going into access code. So like Sky Tracker cannot go in access code if they're under Gozen Match. Um, Salamangreat cannot go into access code. They can't. I don't even think they go into Splash Mage. I'm pretty sure Splash Mage is a um, yeah, Splash Mage is a water. And against Shadal's, Gozen Match locks them into either lights or darks. So if they bring out Mechaba, they cannot bring out Winda, and vice versa. Or they bring out Construct, they cannot bring out Winda. So yeah, Gozen Match is pretty good. Um, I think you'll definitely have a lot of success with it. Yeah, just thinking if there's any other new cards in Burst of Destiny. I think that's it. Yeah, thank you all for watching, and best of luck in your Dark Magician triumphs, hopefully. Alright, peace.